Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good night. Whatever time it is by you, I hope you're doing fine. I am running out of things to do with one day left to go in our. Here you go, you can see a face. Ha! One day left to go before new set comes out. Do think that a lot of this stuff is kind of coming to an end. They did a really fast premiere draft over here for Phyrexia All Will Be One and traditional All Will Be One. I think they're getting ready for the March of Machines to kind of come in and take over in 26 hours and 30 minutes. Um, with that being said, I got enough free gold to do a free quick draft. And if you look at my set, it says like, oh, you've just basically collected all the Phyrexia All Will Be One stuff. But I don't think so, man. I still see a lot of rares and mythics that are not collected that are in there. And so I don't mind taking a risk with the gold. I think sitting on the gold, waiting for March of the Machines to open up, for drafting capabilities, kind of a mistake. I think I'd rather utilize the free tokens, or I've got a draft token in here, and then another four coming with a sealed deck. So we'll have some things to do in March of the Machines towards acquiring cards and acquiring sets, and it should be fun. We got to learn those cards anyway, so it'll be a little slower going for me because I usually don't. I don't just jump into the games. I kind of like to practice with the cards, so I have less misplays because I'm not that good. I pilot decks okay, but I'm not as intuitive as like I see some of these guys that've been doing this for a very very long time. I don't mind getting vault progress though, and I don't mind getting a shot at some rares. When I take a look at my collection and I click on let's see, Phyrexia All Will Be One, and just look at the not collected, right? Rares and mythics that are out there. I got at least one copy of every single one of them. And then if I do just the ones that I need copies of, right? I kind of have a smattering of holes, specifically in black, it seems like. I didn't draft a lot of black when I was jumping into this, and so things like the Archfiend, the Obliterator, the Veraskas, the Gisses, they just didn't they didn't open up as far as opportunities for me quite as much. So these are the cards that I'm looking to draft in there. I definitely think that I don't need like another Mind Splice apparatus, so I could probably pass that one up. But if I saw any of these, I would be really really happy to scoop them up, um, kind of fill out some of the collection. Um, so these are the cards that I'm looking for. Now that we know, chances of getting them are pretty slim, but we know the format well enough to know that it's probably worth, risking 300 gems, right? Like I'm hoping that we can get back to something like 4 wins in this format with everything that we know. So let's do it. Let's do it. Quick draft. There we go. We'll do the 5,000 gold. They don't even ask you if you're sure. They're just like, yeah, here you go. Um, two or fewer lands on the thicket. I actually think I want that card. There's like some button I can push. I already have all 4 copies of it. Now that I look at it. So there won't be any rare drafting on that card. So the only card we'd be picking would be selected based off of what we're trying to do. I don't think that this pushes you in a direction by yourself. And Chimney Rabbles by themselves don't make, oh yeah, like I got to be in red kind of deal. Honestly, Serum Core Chimera is probably one of the stronger cards that's in the pack. It's not easy sometimes to play. Incubation Sac is another card that I think way overperforms in draft. Just having that ability to create those 3/3 golems as you get to a board stall state is pretty good. And if we're going to end up in a mid-range grindy deck, I do like me some Incubation Sac. It's hard to pass up on the Contagious Vorak though if we're going to lean in that direction, just because this is one of the best cards in, like, probably the best common in the game. And so I think what we'll do is we'll take a Vorak and kind of be thinking, hopefully we can wheel Sack. But even if we can't, there's a couple cards in red that I think I'd be happy to wheel that would still support the green-red kind of mid-range deck that's in here. Unfortunately, though, there's just not a lot of value to draft on the first pick, so we're moving on. And again, we've collected everything. So nothing really that we're super, super stoked to draft, although we gotta probably lean pretty heavily towards the Hex Gold Slash as an excellent card. Blue does have not kind of a very underwhelming. You're just not going to get 6 mana like too often in this format. You're dead by four mana out, turn 5, kind of stuff. So unless you've got a plan on how to survive that long, you're in trouble. This will help you get there though for sure. And then this should be good, and it just isn't. It's just too slow. If they made the equipment cost something like 1 or 2, I think it would be really good because then it would be available. But spending 3 mana just to attach that thing onto something is just ugh. All to make a might that essentially is a free bystand. It's like a free ability on almost all the other cards. So we take the Hex Gold Slash, and we don't look back. All right. Again, we've collected everything. Um, kind of a good card to stabilize, but not really a good card to pull you towards a direction. Charge Forger is an interesting one. It's kind of like downgrading your cards to cycle them in and cycle them out. I'm not 100% sure what the build around is on this that makes it really, really good, but I'm not stoked about any of these either. Tamio's Logbook is really expensive unless you're in that really like heavily artifacty deck. This thing is it's a removal, and removal comes at a premium. And I don't think there's anything in here that I say like, oh yeah, like we got to do this. Sacrifice to get rid of something isn't bad if you've got a lot of tokens, but neither of these kind of lean you towards that direction. This can be good in the oil format, but again, we're not really headed there. So I think that we just take the stay open removal spell, not the most ideal removal spell. Hmm. Hmm. Nothing great here, huh? Just nothing great. I guess we'll take the troll. I'm having a hard time finding anything of value that would be playable just because I just don't see myself moving towards white like that. This is just a little battle trick. It's definitely not going to take you there. So we'll take the troll as a possible play later in the game, and I'm feeling a little bit better about that pick already. Um, So Noxious Assault I thought was going to be amazing, and these like, Furnace Blasts and Noxious Assaults, they work, but they only work at very specific times, and needing 5 mana with a double pip green to make that thing happen is kind of a scary proposition. This is a great card though. This thing works almost every time you cast it, as does the Lattice Blade Mantis. 4 mana, 4 mana. This gives you a 5/4 with Vigilance when you untap it, or when you use the piece to it, and this gives you a 3 hasty. I think I pick up a lot of late Chimney Rabbles, and I think I can pick up some late Lattice Blade Mantises, but I don't think I pick up many late Rustvine Cultivators. And I do think that you have to, even if you want to play mid range, you have to be ready to hold down the early game against the toxic push, and that's what Rustvine allows you to do. Those 1-drops that hit the deck, even if they've got Death Touch, you're probably okay doing it. If this thing survives, it helps you ramp and move up into your higher threats. There's just a lot of positives that come from the Rustvine Cultivator. This is also way better than it looks. That 2 extra toughness with the really, really cheap equipment cost can just continually make everybody into an exceptionally good blocker. And so I do like me an injector. It's possible that it wheels, but we're going to stay low to the ground, and we're going to take the ramping card, and we're rewarded right away with a burn spell that is excellent. It's proliferating, so if we end up with something that's got some oil on it, like you, we'll be in good shape. I do not like these that much. This is good if you're in the blue deck, and this is good if you're in the white deck, especially the white-red deck. But you can't pass up a Volt Charge. Like, that's just too good. Removal comes at such a premium in these formats. And now, I do like that card more than you would think. Um, It's a good blocker in the air. It comes out on the super cheap. It's a Phyrexian. It's an artifact. It triggers so many little stuff. But we're not walking away from these 2 burn spells, and we're probably not walking away from these 2 ramp cards either. So, knowing that, we're looking at these saying like which one of your four cards in these two colors do you feel good. This has affinity for equipment, and we're definitely not leaning into the equipment. Equipment doesn't even ride necessarily well. These are not evasive creatures. So it doesn't make sense to go that way. I do actually like this card. Um, it's a decent top end, and I don't think we need a second ogre, oil gorger, ogre, oil gorger. Um, one is enough. You don't, you're not getting a good board presence with this 5 mana. You're getting an incredibly good finisher right here. So I think we'll take the atrocity, thinking maybe there's a ramp ideal, and wow, 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 wow. Red just opened wide up. All right, so we already have a Rustvine Cultivator, so we don't need that one. We can look at that as like, oh man, we could have gotten something else. Or we could say, hey, look, we already got that slot in a better position, and now I can get a 2-drop that can block and help me ramp and help me clean cards. Or I can get a Furnace Strider, which can help me finish games. Also really, really good. Scamp just doesn't do enough like to justify a card getting used. And I kind of feel the same way about Free from Flesh at times too. I just don't feel like there's enough there. This is also a little late to just be putting 1/1s and a 3/3 out there. There's just too many ways for that to get, obliterated. So I think we're taking the Engraver. There's a possibility that on our final pick, we wheel one of these red cards, and I'd take any of them to be honest with you, but it'll probably end up being either Furnace Strider or Free from Flesh, or bring the ending. Still, we need the 2-drops, and that is one of the best for the kinds of stuff that we're trying to do around here. We have another 2-drop, which is really good. We're not trying to splash in this, so getting the Terramorphic Expanse on the deck, it doesn't really do us anything. So we take the 2-drop in our color and move right along, and boom, Chimney Rabble. I knew we had a chance to wheel that Chimney Rabble. I'm glad. All right, so we're taking the Chimney Rabble here as a 4-drop. What? What? Another one? Have another one. Yeah. Okay, so this is starting to look pretty strong. I like haste. Haste, haste, haste. We got a lot of haste going on there. I don't think anything is going to work for us here, so we'll just kind of take the Planar Incision, knowing that there's almost no chance that we'll play it. And oh, now we actually have a choice. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um, if I saw a lot of creatures with low toughness on our deck, I think that we would definitely lean towards the Prosthetic Injector. But because we don't, having a third Chimney Ravel is not bad at all. It is just that moment in the middle of the game where you get to turn 4 and boom, here's 2 bodies, one can attack. I just think that there's too many positive things that happen with 3 Chimney Rebels in your deck. If we had flyers, if we were really trying to play some kind of small ball, I would lean that way, but I'm just not seeing it. And the Bargiche. All right. So, just to recap, like what's happened so far, we picked out some really solid cards that kind of bring us from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, right? So we've got kind of a nice even step all the way across the board, but we have 5 cards up here at 4 mana and above, and so I really have to start looking at getting much lower to the ground as far as the ability to ramp is concerned. Otherwise, we just don't survive long enough in any kind of condition. We'll be at 6 or 7 toxic by the time we start to get a chance to play, or Chimney Rebels, and that's just not acceptable. We're not going to be able to do that. So probably not looking at one of these coming into the deck, but we'll see. That would give us 10 playables, and that's remarkably good out of 13 picks, right? So we're definitely on brand for our deck. Unfortunately, we haven't drafted a single rare. We haven't gotten much on the value side out of the deck at all. And so that just kind of takes us in the wrong direction. Hey, look at this. A rare that we need. 3 out of 4 mind splices. I just don't think you ever want 4 out of 4. You don't really utilize them that way. Um, Another really great card for our ramp. It's a 2-drop. It gets down early. We probably can wheel the Furnace Strider, but we'll almost never wheel the Hex Gold Slash. And so what we have to look at is how important is the two drop board presence versus the removal spell? And I think the answer is we'd rather have the board presence, especially just given what the nature is that we're trying to do. We want to be able to block and we want to be able to survive in order to put our threats down. If we just try to focus on playing small ball, they'll outvalue us with one and two drops, and we just won't be able to keep up with the card kind of situation that comes. So I'm going to say we take Scrap Gorger as a perfect answer for what we're trying to do, and unfortunately let the Mind Splice apparatus slide on by. Um, yeah, yeah, I feel like that's the right answer because we can wheel Furnace Strider. So it's really this, or this. We might even wheel the Mind Splice, to be honest. Ooh. Okay. So none of these are phenomenal. It's serviceable if you needed the removal at the high end of the mana curve. It just doesn't seem like that shows up that much. But Tyvar Stand is brilliant. Can be a finishing move if you got a lane of attack. It can be an incredibly good protection spell. Can allow you to trade up quite a bit. Can keep something alive that the opponent was sure was not going to be alive on the next one. Other good cards that are in here are the Mandibular Justiciar in the Artifact White deck. That does look like that's open, and then of course the Rustvine Cultivator. But I think I'll take the trick right now as a way to sort of maintain board presence and kind of keep control of the game and sort of keep a hidden threat if we do end up in a board stall. But I have something with like trample. So we're going to be looking for trampling kinds of things later in the game. But I do like this probably as a more useful tool. Obviously, white is stacked. Removal, artifact, artifact, artifact synergy. So there's a big sign in here to say like you could switch to white and you probably could still build a really, really good deck out of it. Batterfist is a serviceable 2-drop. It's not great on the it's not great on the survivability, and ramp kind of strategy, but it is pretty good as far as giving us an extra way to transfer something over later. We can just throw that one mana and turn this thing into a 4/2, turn this thing into a 5/3. We can really kind of like allow these things to become much bigger threats along the way. So I do like it. You could even stick it on something like the Axiom Engraver, to be honest with you, and then now it's a 2/4. It gets really hard to deal with. So I think I'm feeling the barbed batter fist. Again, removal that's really clunky if you're not using it on something. Like if you're using it on a creature, it's way too expensive. This is a great card. This is a great card in the black toxic deck. I think this is a better card than people give it credit for. It doesn't show up enough to get used. So we'll take the 2-drop, and we're kind of filling out our curve now, and we're feeling a lot better about how the curve looks. Now, he has some synergy in the oil green deck. And we do have well, he has some synergy, but we don't actually have a lot of things carrying oil. In fact, we have just one at this point. So I think that this would be a mistake to take. I'm trying to look for a card that isn't. Like, I feel like this is the only card that's in our colors. I guess we could take a Thrill of Possibilities, but you're giving up 2 cards to gather 2 cards. It just seems like air. I don't like it. In an absolute pinch, this could help smooth out our mana. Hmm. So white was completely open, and then now black it was completely open. It doesn't feel like we're forcing with 10 different creatures and a nice curve going so far. I'm not so sure I'm making mistakes here. Um, I think I'm just going to take the Thirsting Roots and hope that that's just a bad pack for our colors and find out that it's not. Everybody is drafting our colors in this direction. We are not going to get anything in red and green, it looks like. There's a Skull Bomb that we might be able to wheel. There's a Skull Bomb in black. You can still play these as card cleaning, but we're definitely taking the injector here as the best card for us. And another pack that's just not in our colors. We're in a little bit of trouble, and I'm starting to get nervous about our choices here. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X, where X is number of permanents with oil counters. Again, good if we ever end up getting a bunch of oily countered kind of stuff. Um, but I don't see that happening. I do think that we could do this. It's cheap. It gives us an oil uh, counter or two onto something like the Rustvine Cultivator. So I guess we're taking the Skull Bomb as a more likely to be useful card than the Anointer. Yeah, you know what though? I'm going to take the Anointer on the hopes that something changes in this oil situation. Oh my gosh, it's just getting worse. Okay, so Predation Steward is a 2/2 that does come in with two oil counters, so there are some synergies across the board here. Um, with like the Anointer, Volt Charge will help proliferate, making those bigger. I do think Churning Reservoir is an interesting artifact to put down. It doesn't the creating the 1/1 doesn't work as much as you'd think. You'd have to lose an oil drop all the time. So we'll take or an oil counter all the time. We'll take something that carries oil because of the synergies in our oil deck, and then we'll move past. We have another 2-drop in red. We actually have red cards for the first time in this second pack, or second, yeah, like pack 2. And then we've got a cool trick that actually works way better than it looks. Um, Creature-wise, our creature count is really good, and our curve is really low. So I'm okay passing on a Barbed Batterfist right now and taking a battle trick that gives us an opportunity to possibly put some offense forward. Definitely gives us an opportunity to look at another card if we're really stuck. And then we're rewarded with an oily card that has haste and that has some uh, punch to it when it hits the deck. Free from Flesh would put some more oil counters on something if we utilized it. Rustvine Cultivator's kind of down here in the onesies, and I'm probably not playing the Thirsting Roots, right? This is a lot of cards down here in my onesies. That's not that bad though. Creature or spell? Creature or spell? I think we take the creature. Almost nothing's getting played here. Just way too expensive, right? A 4/2 for 4 is nothing. I mean, here's a 4/2 for 4. Like we're not even that excited, and it has something extra that comes with it. Um, Maybe if some crazy rare shows up that changes our mind, but at this point right now, it's bad. We don't look like we're drafting any rares, and we're not getting anything out of this. We'll take the Thrill of Possibility, and we'll take the Black Skull. But now we'll take another Thrill, I guess. And we'll take another Thrill. Wow. That's a shame. Come on. Hey! Boom. We did get a rare card, at least, in our color. It's not terrible either as a 1-drop. Unfortunately, it really focuses on non-creature spells, and that is not something that this deck leans into at all. Um, on the flip side of that, very, very little coming from us. So I think we'll take the rare card here and see if we end up leaning. Oh, I have all the Kayas in the world, unfortunately. I'm still going to take the rare draft for the gems because I've got, 15 creatures, 21 out of 40 cards. I'd like to upgrade a few of these cards, but for the most part, we've got a workable deck. So Kaya's coming for the gems. Another oil synergy red card is not a bad idea here. The rest of this pack is really bad for us. Boy, these colors, man, we forced these colors. There's a 2-drop that we could use. Here's Gleeful Demolition, which I don't think fits. And then again, look at the white, man. Just coming out the ears with the white. Okay, Skitterfang is excellent. a 2-drop over here. I think Skitterfang works really good because the oil counters. Anointer turns out to be a decent pick after all this is said and done. Even Forgehammer Centurion might turn out to be decent along the way. So we'll take this, and we're kind of leaning pretty heavy into um, that oily synergy. We have another green card that carries oil. We have a black card that sacrifices his way to getting on the board. We have a Cackler over here, which is not the best, uh, but it does have that oil synergy kind of piece to it. I just can't imagine playing 3 Rustvine Cultivators. That would be such a killer, like a death as a top deck. Um, we do have this, which proliferates. So we have a reach, we take a block, and then just before it dies to that block, we use 2 mana to sacrifice it and put a +1 oil counter on all of this stuff. So there is a play line where the copper longlegs does a lot for us. 18 different creatures in the deck right now with 24 cards in hand. Pretty nice 2.6, like low to the ground kind of deal. Not loving my top end threats. Would love to have had a bomb in this deck, and I'm just not seeing it. Although this isn't really a bomb heavy format for the most part. Just kind of recapping what I'm looking at here with 1, 2, 3 non-creature spells to push the Vindictive Flamestoker that may not end up making the cut. Um, Predation Steward may not make the cut. Prosthetic Injector may not make the cut. We'll see. I do think that we're going to end up with a Cackler again. So that's what we're going to take. I say again. Is that our first Cackler? Huh. That is our first Cackler. I think we'll take the 2-drop that takes out an artifact. You never know when you're facing that. It's a creature. It's a removal. It's a creature removal. And then of these two, I definitely think that the Axiom Engraver has a chance to do more. Although we need something like this. Hmm. So these are the 3 cards that I'm not super excited to play. Hmm. I think I'm taking this. I think we need like a win con and we just don't have it. So I think we're taking that. We ended up wheeling the Copper Longlegs, which definitely is an upgrade over the Predation Steward. So I feel good about removing the Predation Steward out of there. I do not mind putting a Shrapler Slinger in and maybe taking out like one of these as an option. Oh, look. Who'd have thought? Boop. Coming down to the end, and we definitely didn't do very good on the value draft over here. We have too many of these already. I guess because you're in our card, I don't think we have any artifacts to destroy, do we? It says we have 6. Must be these creatures, right? Artifact creatures, artifact over here. Artifact, artifact, artifact. Okay, okay. I'm not like freaking out about it now. Do we end up having them both? Yeah, we do. You're funny. Okay, so unfortunately, bots value drafted like crazy and took all of our rares. We ended up pulling a Kaya, which we already had 4 copies of, and we ended up pulling a Vindictive Flamestoker, which we already had 4 copies of. We don't need to play Vindictive Flamestoker, And I'm not so sure I really want to play the Oil Gorger Troll. They're both pretty good cards to be just thrown up onto the side. Also, too many Rustvine Cultivators over there for sure. Doesn't give us too many cuts, right? That's only 2 cuts necessary at this point. Curve looks good. 19 creatures. I do like that. We do have some removal along the way, which is good. This can end up becoming a removal as a battle trick. So, assuming that we could take out some artifacts, we could take out some toxic dudes, we could just take out some dudes. We don't have any large removal kind of creatures. So we're going to look like we're trying to control, and on the low end side of things, we've got a couple 3/1s, we've got a couple of 1/3s along the way. I thought I had an extra Axiom Engraver. No? No, I guess not, huh? Unfortunately. I love my mid game that I got going on here. And then the Urbrask Anointer actually is a pretty good late game card with so much with oil on it down here. Shrapnel Slinger can make the Cackler have some oil. Or not the Cackler, but the Forge Hand Centurion. I don't know about this card. I feel like I like the Troll more than I like the Centurion. Hmm. He just doesn't really fit the bill. Those look like my 2 worst cards. Trick, trick, removal, trick, removal, removal. Most likely, right? I feel like without the bombs, this is gonna fail. We didn't get like a lot of the cards that are necessary to make this thing continue to punch. Um, I don't feel like this is a great deck, to be honest. Just gonna run it through one game of practice because it's been a long time since I've played Phyrexia. All will be one. I'm not gonna lie. So we come down here to the draft deck. We just kind of look at their stats real quick. We're at a 2.9 average with 18 creatures, 5 non-creature spells. All that stuff checks out. We have 17 lands in here. So if we're going to do this, we want it to be something that looks like similar ratio of like a little over 3.5 to 1 and 25, 26 lands, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? 25, we need 26, right? So we'll do 26 lands. We'll get rid of some of these things. Okay. Um, and then we'll even these up a bit and say, like, let's just give ourselves more creatures. 1, 2, 3 different creatures. We added 1 non-creature. We'll do it again. Um, we'll say, like, creature, 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 and then 1 non-creature. And then we'll do it again with, let's say, creature. Trying to avoid like overpowering one half of the deck more than the other. We'll do that. That's fine. And then we'll do non-creature. Oops, no, we don't need to. Okay, so that should give us like 24, 25, 26. We're like one extra creature over a spell, so let's do one less of you and maybe one more of you. We'll take the worst one, just to get a sense. And then we're just going to jump in against Spark just to make sure that we're aware of like where the synergies lie. Bot match practice, one or two quickies, and then we'll go in there for some games. Huh. Don't know. I don't know. I feel like we drafted for a synergy that just wasn't really open. Look at you. Okay, that feels better. It's like they already knew this was. This is good in later game. This is good in later game. So we'll hold off and say let's stick with the 2-drop, 3-drop removal. We're getting all of our removal. And that's what I mean by it blocks. That's always good. We don't need to attack, so we'll say next, and we'll say decline, and we'll say no attacks. And then we'll clean a card up, although I'm not sure. Okay. I do think we're attacking now, just because he's going to end up giving us a bunch of ouchies. We're going to end up volt charging one of these two, so I'm going to say pass. Yep. So we just volt charge this thing just to minimize the risk associated with it. Get oil counters on both. We will say all attack is fine. I think we could probably put, what do you think, some lifelink on something? Yeah, I guess so. Against red, having that 2 extra life actually matters. 2 more bodies. Attacking, going to take an extra piece of damage. Unfortunate. Okay, we don't have anything better to do with our mana here, so we'll do this, and we'll do this just to get rid of you. And we can attack, that's fine. Okay, so we've got a piggy, but I'm going to get rid of that first. And I'm going to say next, and I'm going to say, yeah. That's fine. I have another one that prevents 4 damage, right? So if you were going to prevent 4 damage, you'd feel pretty good. We got to land. No need to proliferate. 6/5 creature would be good. Unfortunately, just one creature at this point right now, so we're gonna deflood our land here situation and see. Just kidding. We're not gonna do any of that. I'm okay with trading if they wanted to. We might as well throw this body out and stick that on there. Just stay aggressive here. Again, I have no problems making that trade. And we're flooded out completely. I shouldn't have attacked with the 1. I should have tried to clean up the there. And we nailed it. We got our bomb. Yeah, this is just flooded. So I'm curious what to expect. Well, we handled a bunch of 1/1s just fine. What can I say? We're amazing. The deck did have the right removal, and it did play pretty smooth through the curve. So a little bit of flooding, and we should have used our Axiom Engraver a little bit more. You know, getting that extra 2 or 3 damage that we got out of it didn't change anything as far as like decision making in the game was concerned. So wasn't really a lot of benefit. Got a nice blocker that sits up here again. We certainly could do the removal spell right now, but there's not a lot of reason to, except we just don't have anything else to do. This is one of those things where like I wonder like should we just all attack, take the block, go like this, and go boop, just clean up their stuff. It's a easier to use removal spell right now. Keeps them from getting, you know, some kind of board presence along the way. And here we stand again. At this point right now, I think I'd probably play Chimney Rabble and put some pressure on them. I definitely don't want to be utilizing one of my removal spells on 1/2s, you know. So we do this, get some damage in. We have a chump blocker for that. So we just chump the 1/3 or the 3/3. Take the 1, and then now, you know, we could do Furnace Strider in order to push major damage all the way through. Let's do it. Let's see what aggressive looks like with their haste, right? Yes. Go. I definitely like that. Well, might as well, right? Blazing Crescendo on top of you seems fine by me. Oil Gorger Troll comes out as a play for next hand since it's a little above, but it don't matter. Wow. Ain't you studly? Yeah, no, I think that that's always the answer, right? You always switch to haste, and you always switch to getting the damage in right away. Going slow in this format is death. There are a lot of cards that just ping you with toxic damage and kind of like whittle you down. You just don't want to do that if you can avoid it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to avoid that. Keeping it. Got a 2-drop, got a 3-drop, got a couple top-end threats. Certainly going to take a little bit of damage here along the way. It's okay. I like this. There's no artifacts here for us to take out with us. Certainly would trade with the Nest Robber here. Because we got to stop the damage. We can't be taking 4 damage every turn. Like, that's just too much, right? Speaking of that, though, we could put a Contagious Vorak out and go for the land. Red. Thank you. I just only had one red source, and I thought like having another one would be good. We throw the red source out. Now we have the ability to hastily attack, and that does put them in a tough block situation. Yeah, I'd rather get rid of this than this, so we just do that. But Piggy did his work. Again, we take the trade. It will make a reset. That's okay. Just trying to do everything I can to minimize damage, right? Furnace Strider is going to allow us to make a push. We'll put it on there, go next, all attack, and opponent opts to let the damage fall as it may. We will have our 6th mana. I do like how our curve works, man. Our curve feels really good. I do think that we're playing the 17 land situation. He's doing damage. I mean, he's not doing damage. So that's happening. 2 choices, right? We have some decent threats out here right now, and we could throw something like the Skitterfang and then use the thing to give this thing lifelink. We'd hit for 7, we'd heal for 4, the score would be 14-3. We'd feel really good. But we have a better play, and that is put this guy out. Use this on this, and attack for lethal. And I do think that that is the right answer, right? If you can finish the game now, finish the game now. So very good, you know, on the draw against mono red, easily stabilized. Nothing weird about the way that opponent played, except for the fact that we didn't see any removal or burn spell. That was the only negative side of this. But we curved right into our 3, our 4, our 5, and our 6, like perfectly. And they worked really good at delivering some damage. I can see us winning some games. Try one more. It does seem like if the curve is in our favor, we're good, and if it's not, we're in trouble. But we have a really nicely curved deck here, so the curve should be in our favor. A 2-drop, a 3-drop. There's our 2. All right, so 1/3 that can't attack is fine. I think we just continue to curve out here. Might as well take it. We'll say, since we've got this attack covered up, we might as well do the card cleaning too. And I kind of like these cards. And since I've got mana 4 and mana 5 in hand, I'm just going to dump this for another one. Oh well. Well, there you go. Yeah, trouble. So no. Okay, so I can tell you from experience that I would much rather have gotten rid of this Hallowed Priest than I would have gotten in the damage. So we're going to do it that way for a moment. And then we could clean the card of the Copper Longlegs in hopes of something with a little bit more beef, because I don't know of another, like, really solid move here. I do think, though, if we sit back, we'd be trading Contagious Vorak for their 4/4, and that's pretty good. So yeah, we don't need to do anything here. My man just never stops healing. All right. That didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I would really not mind getting rid of one of their cards for one of this too. So let's go here, and then let's just go next and just attack with this and see which one they want to trade. And that is excellent. Okay. All those little +1 life gains don't exist anymore because of that, which is good. We're definitely double spelling now. 4, 5, 6, and we've got, any two of them add up to 5 or 4. So what do you want to add up to? I think we put the Oil Gorger out, or the Scrap Gorger, sorry, and the Skitterfang out. And I don't think I'm that interested in this land anymore. I'm going to say decline, because an attack by itself is just nothing spectacular here. I would be trading, so this thing wouldn't be doing anything. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Mm-hmm. We hear you. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have much on the offensive side. I think we're just going double defense here. Gosh, the defense never stops. Okay. I mean, you could put some death touch on something and send it in. Let's do it. Put a death touch on you. Yeah. I think that's a good trade. End turn. I don't want to lose that card, so. Oh, I messed up. I could have cleaned it up. I think we're going to decline, and I think I'm going to do this. Get rid of you. Go here, do this. Proliferate all of you. And then just really looking for my, or you know, the guy who delivers a bunch of stuff. I could still put like a death touch on it, but I'm going to say no on the attacks. We're about to get a couple 3/3s on the board here. Yeah. Okay, that'll make life easier, right? When this thing gets to 3 or more oil counters, right? So if I all attack now, I will take the action and put one on like you, and we'll give you death touch, right? And then we'll say next, and we'll say all attack, and we will be getting rid of you, and we will be getting rid of you, and that will make you both 3/3s. And then we'll say next, and we'll see. All right. I do think we'll take out the life linker. Correct. And the question is, would we want to get rid of their scrap? Like, would we want to save our scrap gorger, or would we want to save our skitterfang? And I think that we just lose the skitterfang. Doesn't gain trample, does it? Just hex an indestructible. So if I go 2, it'll have enough. Autopay. And all that will do is take out most of their big threats, leave their board with very, very little. Yep, good job. We can clean this. It's not worth the extra damage. I'm just kidding. We're going to clean this because it's not worth the extra damage. And we'll play you. That's fine. We'll decline because nothing's an artifact. Go all attack. And sure, we'll just keep deleting kitty cats. God, you just can't grab anything above. Decline. Let's go. Goodbye. Go to my graveyard and get rid of something. Hey, how did you get in there? Oh yeah, I traded you out. Forgot. Go to you. Let's see if I get a trick. Got a little trick of my own. Not the sexiest hand, but if you don't curve out, you can see that there's a problem with this deck. You know what's funny is we are not drafting or not pulling too many chimney rabbles out of that. We have 3 different chimney rabbles in the deck, and we're not pulling um, like some of the other stuff. This is good though. This is turn 1 play, turn 2 removal or trick. We've got some answers here. There's a chimney rabble I was just talking about. We were just talking about you. Ugh. I think we just keep the defense up here, right? It's fine. Get the ramp on. Okay, so we have a removal and a trick, or we have a ramp into a haste. And I kind of like the removal into a trick kind of situation, right? So let's see what double blocks we end up with, and then we'll use our removal and trick accordingly. Very interesting. Okay, so we're only dealing 1 damage, right? So we're using our removal and then our trick in order to get rid of stuff. And if we're doing it, the trick, we probably just go this way, right? So start with the Hex Gold Slash on the 2/2. How dare you? We're in the wrong half now. How brilliant was that move? I still think that we take something with us and use the trick on it. Um, but unfortunately, we're going to fall 1 short. Still worth it. So close. Good play on Sparky's side. We could put the Anointer out and just take out the Charm Stray, minimize what the damage would be, and then I think we just put in a dot on it. I'll even let the 2 damage go by. Yeah, no block. Unfortunately, we do have an Oil Golger Troll. It gives us 3 life, and then if you have a permanent with an oil counter, I think that's the better play. Mm, mm, mm. I think I can catch 1 and let 1 go by. Yeah, see, it didn't happen. Um, Keep the mana even here. We have mana coming out of our ears, right? So I think we just throw the Chimney Rabble and we attack in with 3. Fine by me. I think we'll get rid of this guy first. He's the one that's got the most danger. 2 for 1. Throw you out there. Okay. It's good stabilization. Everything else is good. That's fine. And turn. That hurt, I'm sure. Keep the oil counters coming. And do it again. It's a good trade. I'm holding on to that card just in case we end up with like an Axiom Engraver or something that allows us to clean. Well, we ended up with something better. A hasty Toxic 3. Hasty Toxic 3. So, surprisingly, Rustvine Cultivators, they're good blockers, but I don't know if I want 2 of them in this deck. They just kind of seem low on the power, and the synergies aren't like earth-shattering. So, of the things that I've learned, I do feel like when we curve up, we do much better than when we don't, right? So, topper and threats. Gosh, we just didn't draft anything in the top end, did we? Ugh. So, prosthetic injector is one answer to making something like the Skitterfang more powerful or the Vorak more powerful. And I do think that we might end up wanting to do that over something like this, which only has 2 toughness. The Cackler, the Cackler might be perfect for this deck, though. With the 3 toughness and the pluses, knowing that we'll always have, 1 or 2 oil guys on there, it's going to attack him pretty good for a 3-mana drop. I think we'll do it. Right? Just gives us one more step in the middle towards making the ramp happen. And that's what we really want. We want to continue to ramp all the way through. And so I feel pretty ideal as far as curve is concerned. 18 and 5, 17 lands. Let's play a game just like this. Let's see how it goes. It may go great. It may not go great. We'll find out. And then we'll take a quick break. Take some kids to school. Okay, well, we look pretty good, actually. We've got a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 2-drop. So we're definitely on the keep plan here. The question is just... Hello, Proto. I think we'll hold back the shrapnel slinger. Right? With the 1 toughness, the chorus is kind of a pain in the butt. We'll do this. That gives us the ability to tap our... Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't want to do that. I thought it was... My bad. That was so bad. Oh, my God. That was so bad. We just threw a whole game for that. That was stupid. Well, here we stand again. Would be nice to ramp, wouldn't it? I have no problems with this. And I probably would let the crawling course go by in order to start putting some damage down. So if he wants to get into a little bit of a race, I think Blanchbright Stalker as a removal for anything with 3 toughness would be better than preventing 1 toxic and 1 damage. Yep, nope. He is ramping. Okay. Let's see what he does. It's fine. Man, we could be at like 4. We could have some of these bigger threats out there. There's a lot that could have gone our way. That's okay. I think I Chimney Rabble and attack. And I think I do the same thing again on the next turn. And then I can Cackler as a 3/3 and try to just, I don't want to say race, but try to move forward. You're going to kick back your land. How very interesting. This is a good block. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess the right answer is Furnace Strider and attack in with just Furnace Strider. That's fine. Stop. Like I keep, I don't want to say misfiring, but like I keep misfiring. Okay. I would take the damage to block the toxic at this moment, right now. And hopefully swing into. He's threatening 4, but I've got lethal in 2. I don't need any more. I don't need any more mana out of Scrap Gorger. So, like, I can attack in with him. That's fine. You're just gonna aerial assault? No, I didn't think so. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So I can take 4 toxic, and 4 is not something he's got, right? So if I go Chimney Rabble and then attack with everybody, I definitely have something to get rid of. Chimney Rabble creates that, so that'll be 4, 10, 13. He'll have to take a trade, otherwise he loses. And I can survive the crackback. So I think that's the answer, right? Chimney Rabble? It's not worth the 1. We'll go next. All attack. Get rid of you. Go next. Takes 10. He needs lethal right now, and he only has 2 toxic coming my way. Only 1 blocker out of that. Definitely worth getting rid of you. So he's got 3 blockers to 3 threats right now. But I could put 4 up, and Furnace Strider wins the game, right? Because if I do it like this... Oh, no. So if I do this, Furnace Strider doesn't get a plus at all. So we would trade, like remove, lose, remove. So he would lose 2 of his toxic threats. Just do I get this right? If I attack in with these 3, I'm going to lose 1 and he's going to lose 2. And it's a must, right? That would leave him with 2 toxic on the crackback. I could stop 1 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this takes 4 to accomplish. Thinking it through here, give me a second. I think I'm going to have to push the attack and make him remove 2. The Strider will survive, and as long as I put out these 2 bodies to catch on the backside, I'll be okay. Okay. Think they get haste? No, they just get flying. Hmm. He's not threatening enough toxic to kill me. If I throw this guy out, I don't trade, and I just take the wings out of the equation. And if I attack with this guy, I do lose. So I think I just take this guy out, and if he wants to, I can remove the indoctrination intended, but he loses a blocker, essentially, right? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. Which one do you want to lose? Probably this guy. Kind of in the same place on health and toxic. Come on, give me a creature. That counts as a creature. If I all attack, I'll lose Cackler and get 1 damage in. It doesn't seem like a good fit. He could just put the wings on the toxic guy, but it won't be enough to kill me, and I'll still have him blocking. So I think I just throw the Cackler out, right? I like continually removing their stuff. We get 1 extra damage in. Never mind. That was pretty good. Oh, come on. Nice. That's going to hit me for 6. It's going to prevent any damage, and that's going to be game. Yep. I don't know what else to say. What do you do? What do you do? What could make this work? Just removing 1 blocker, right? But I need all 5 for this. I can chump. I can chump in hopes. That's about my only answer at this point right now. Um, let's see what he does. I need a removal for Zapandrel, and it's just not going to happen now. Axiom and Great, like the guy that gives you flying, would be enough if he attacks in and I chump. No. Yeah, it would. That's what I need. I need him to attack in. I need to double chump, and then I need to hope for um, the flyer. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if that was the right move. If I don't have a way to win because he's playing it. I got the guy that I was looking for. um, can I survive another attack? I don't think so. So I chump and I chump, and he comes in and then he comes in, and that's 2, and this is blocked as a 3/3. So I can, but not if I attack, right? Is there a way for me to get by this? If Skitterfang goes out, I don't know. I kind of want the Skitterfang to go out. This isn't doing me any good, but I can't do that either. I need the blocker. If he attacks and he doesn't win, he's not going to attack, right? Would holding back the Skitterfang after Zapandrel and him attack be the right answer? I think so. Mm-hmm. I need you two in the middle to attack. Okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. So I think I lost because I can't win if I lose this, right? If I let that go and went 1, 2, 3, I think I have to let that go. Or I have to block that. I have to block that. And then I have to block that. Is that the 3 blockers I want? It's the 3 blockers I have to have. Oh, that sucks. There's a Blazing Crescendo possibility. There's a blaze like so. The theory here is take this out, keep the copper longlegs alive, and if there is a Blazing Crescendo, I can Skitterfang, Blazing Crescendo, go over the top and win. That's the only answer I've got. Submit. Take 4. Crescendo. A Blazing Crescendo. You don't give haste, do you? A hasty creature. A Blazing Crescendo. Hasty. Good game. Nothing I could do about that. I mean, I guess there's a chance. Like one of my hasty dudes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come on, hasty guy. I just need one thing with haste. And trample. Now I get the Blazing Crescendo. All right, good game. Shrapnel Slinger wasn't enough by itself. So, I kind of threw it. We'll see. It was a good. The deck worked out pretty good. So, it's just a sorry loss. It happens. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Gotta go.